Well, this is Wyoming, Nebraska. It's a small town, population 1,600 and something. But, you know, it just goes to show you that there's opportunity in any size of town. You know, I've spent my whole life here, and there's not a whole lot of businesses left. I think downtown there's like 4 businesses, and you know, I'll show you where I lived. So this is my town, and this is my story. And here's the house I used to live in. This is where I spent a lot of years. You know, I spent a lot of years here with my kids, and to be honest with you, I remember there was a time when me and the kid was eating, and I didn't even have a kitchen table. You know, we threw mattresses on the floor, and I remember still sitting on the floor, and the kids talking about this kind of being like being on a camp out because we didn't have a table and chairs. So, you know, in that situation, I knew then that I had to do something. I had to do something I didn't want to live this way. I didn't want this for my life. I didn't want this for my kids. I didn't want to grow old thinking this is what I give to my kids in life. I see what other people had, and I know there's opportunities out there. So, you know, I got searching, and that's where I got lucky, and I met my business partner, and we had an opportunity to coach baseball together and talk business. He worked at a local bar downtown, and we dreamed together, and we talked about opportunities, and we made a special dream to come true, and changed our lives. It literally changed our lives. So this is where I spent a lot of my life, and I'll show you where I'm at now. But we're on the way to my house that I'm at now. It was kind of funny when I was building a house, because, you know, it's a small town, and a coffee shop downtown, everybody kept telling me, when they was talking about you at the coffee shop, I said, oh, yeah, what was they saying? And they said, well, you're nuts. He's crazy. And I was like, oh, well, that's good. They're talking about me, and you know, maybe I am nuts, but I don't think so. You know, it just, they kept saying, why would he build a house like that? Why would he? Well, you know, the reason I did is because I could. You know, I took the chance. It took the changes in my life that it took to do the things, make my dreams come true. You know, I've been on the bottom side. I know what it's like. I know what it takes to get out of there. And I wanted to make my dreams come true. Same way with Brian. And I'll call Brian up and have him come down and show you his story too. It's a lot like mine, but we both put our heads together and we made a change. We made our opportunities the same thing that we're going to show you. So anyway, here's my house. This is where I live today in Wyoming, Nebraska. Well, anyway, this is my house, so it's just to show you that dreams can't come true. You just got to have the right system, the right deal, and the heart to do it. Anybody can do it. Trust me. If I can do it, I can't even spell. And I built this in Wyoming, Nebraska. It's the biggest house in Gage County, Nebraska, the whole county. Everybody thought I was nuts, but they don't think I'm nuts anymore. So, and neither does my business partner. So let me take and show you my business partners. What's happened to him in the last few years of working our program. So anyway, I'll introduce you to Brian. Here comes my business partner now.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Brian, how we doing?
Good. Uh-oh, I see you got the camera.
Yeah, let me show everybody a little bit of what Brian had a few years back.
Okay.
So,
sounds interesting.
Yeah, well, we want changes they have to come in their lives too. So, let me shut the garage door here, and I'll hop in.
Okay, great.
Well, how's it going, Mr. Brian?
Good. How are you today?
I'm great.
So what's the plan? We're going to show everybody where we started from?
Yeah. So let's everybody kind of see where we was at a few years back, and kind of where we're at now, and what we want them to do.
Yeah. You know, I used to think it was kind of embarrassing to tell, you know, my story is because it's so it's so far back in my mind now. Being so broke and being so I was never hopeless, so I always knew something better was around the corner for me. But you talk about humble beginnings. We definitely have some humble beginnings, Steve. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
But it's kind of nice too, coming from such a small town. I don't know if people realize how really small this town is, and it just goes to show that anybody can start from anywhere, and get more successful and be successful from no matter where you're at. So, well, what do you want to start at? Where you used to live?
Yeah. Well, let's stop here, and I'll turn it on when we get to your house.
At the time, I owned a bar downtown, and me and my two sons were living here in this house right here. And actually, they did fix it up. It's actually better than what it used to be. And I remember we were so broke, and I mean so broke, that one winter there, actually the last winter that we were in that house, I couldn't afford gas heat. So we actually heated the house with one wood stove, and that's what we did for the whole winter. And it is because that's all I could afford. I had, broke, and I mean like flat broke. Like, when you call the light company and ask for an extension broke. So that's the kind of, start that I came from, was from that house. And it actually got worse, because when we were living in that house, I tried to go back to school, and I was so broke, and a whole series of things happened, and a lot of it was my thought process was so bad too. But then after that house actually got foreclosed on, and me and my two sons moved into a housing complex about 15 miles away from here in a town called Beatrice, and we actually lived in this this poor housing complex apartment for 1 year, and that's where it was, at that housing complex, when I walked out one morning after that little house right there, that $15,000 house got foreclosed on. It's so funny saying that now, But so when I walked out one morning to take my kids to school, my car had actually been repossessed, and I forgot that I tied my car to my house note, during that whole process. And so they foreclosed on my house. One morning they come and got my car, so I was literally homeless. I didn't have my home, no car, and just flat broke. No home, no car, flat broke, in a housing complex apartment building in Beatrice, Nebraska. And it was that second that I knew that I would never go back to that place again, and I never have. It's been up from there, and so I really don't like to talk about it, because it just brings back memories I don't even want, that are in the recesses of my mind now. But the point is that you can start from anywhere, and if there's anything that I can give advice on, is that you got to get around the right people. And I know, and I hope you're going to tell your story too, Steve, because I have a story I'd like to tell everybody about getting around the right people. Because one time in a bar at the Brass Rail in Beatrice, Nebraska, I ran into Steve, and he was telling me that he was going to build a house in Wymore, Nebraska. Or no, he said, one day I'm going to build a house in Wymore, Nebraska that doesn't belong there. And just a few short years later, Steve, you actually built the house that don't belong in Wymore, because it's such a magnificent house. And what's funny now is that at the time, I've always heard, get around the right people, get involved with the be able to recognize opportunity and get around the right people. And so that's what I had in my mind, is that was, when Steve told me that was about the same time that I was flat broke. And so, and going through all of my headaches. And now I had it in my mind to get around Steve. Let's do something with Steve. And we ended up coaching Little League together, and then building a business together. And here we are now. So let me go show you where I live now, because it's a whole different scenario. So this is my backyard. And you can see it's a little bit different scenario these days. And yeah, so I'll turn it over to Steve again and tell you how you can do the same thing for yourself. There's got to get around the right people. Like I was saying earlier, you got to get around the right people and do what they do. And we'll tell you all about it.